I could teach, somebody his commands, which are in a different language, and he would listen to him maybe after some time, but he's with me all the time. He'll pretty much only listen to me.
Wait, he doesn't speak English?
So
he doesn't understand English? Was it like Swahili or something?
So he understands words like Cool Whip. He speaks some English.
He's learned that because of it, though, right?
Right.
What's up, y'all? This is Beyond 21. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Bo.
And I'm Daniel.
That's Daniel. Callie's not here. She's on her honeymoon. So I had to get Bo since everybody wanted more Bo. And then he brought
about Bo.
And then he brought Daniel with him. So let's just you want to introduce Daniel and tell us a little bit about what you like about him, what you don't like, kind of get into the juicy gossip.
We might not ought to get into the like and don't like. But this is Daniel Holcomb. He's a deputy sheriff at the sheriff's office. He works on the same shift as I do. He has recently been promoted to a sergeant position. Works directly under me. And he is our canine officer for the sheriff's office.
And that's why he's here. He's going to be telling us about his dog, all their adventures and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely adventures.
You will have to move up toward the mic, though.
You can turn it. Yeah, and then maybe pull it that way to where you can. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so how long have you had Taki?
I graduated from K-9 school right at the end of 2022, so I've had him coming up on about 2 years now.
Do you like him?
Oh, yeah, I love that dog. He is the most frustrating and enjoyable part of my day most of the time.
What kind of dog is he?
So he's a German short-haired pointer, GSP. He's what people think of when they think of a bird dog. The dog that points with one leg up. That's Taki.
Spots on the legs.
He's very active.
Or is it spots on the legs or spots on the body?
They come in all ways. He's got like a solid brown head, and he's speckled all over his body.
And he's terrified of normal people.
So he does not like non-cops.
Most dogs hate cops.
If we're on duty together or something, if you're wearing like a deputy uniform, he'll come right up to you, but let you pet him and everything. But pretty much if you're anybody else, he doesn't want anything to do with you.
Well, now, I remember when you first brought him to the sheriff's office, he knew who you were, but he didn't know the rest of us. Even though we were in the same uniform, it took him a little while to even get used to us,
Yeah, so when I first got him, he was a pretty young dog. He was really still just a puppy, and he's just a skittish dog by nature, but I guess over time he's gotten comfortable being around, deputies all the time.
Now, what all will Taki do?
So Taki is certified in narcotics detection. He's certified in the detection of, meth, heroin, fentanyl, pretty much any kind of illicit narcotic you can think of. Taki's trained to sniff it out and let me know when he's found it. Taki is also trained to track people. He tracks through what we call ground disturbance. So, say a suspect takes off running in the woods or something, I can get Taki out and he sniffs them out based on how they've disturbed the ground as they ran. So he does no bite work or anything. Obviously, he's too friendly to do that.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to train him to do bite work as old as he is now, or no?
No. So only certain kinds of dogs can be bite dogs. I've never seen a GSP that does any apprehension work. But even a dog like, say, a German Shepherd, which is what you see all the time, only certain ones, they have to have very specific characteristics and traits before they'll train them to do bite stuff.
But that's a good liability too, isn't it?
It's an extreme liability. It's not a big deal if Taki doesn't listen to me. If I tell him to sit down and he don't listen, it's not the end of the world. But if you've got a dog that's ready to bite somebody and that dog doesn't listen to you, somebody's getting hurt.
Yeah.
So
the dog's getting hurt.
Or the dog could get hurt. It is a big liability.
But now he's an officer of ours too, considered, right?
Oh yeah. So he's even got his own badge and everything. Yeah.
What do y'all pay him in bones?
Treats, maybe.
He works for free. Does the sheriff's department buy his
He
food?
gets well taken care of.
Oh yeah, I guarantee you, he is the best taken care of police dog in Alabama.
Do you think so, Harley?
He has his own bottle of whipped cream in our fridge.
Oh my gosh! If y'all didn't hear, she said he has his own bottle of whipped cream in their refrigerator. Do y'all buy him Ready Whip or the off-brand stuff? Come on now,
Ready Whip. Oh,
it's got to be the Ready Whip.
So just so that everybody understands, Taki doesn't live at the sheriff's office, so he has to live with you and your wife, Harley.
That's correct. So Taki is, he is almost like a pet in that he lives with me. He goes home with me. I spend more time around that dog than I do anybody else in my life. He's pretty much with me 24/7.
And it has to be that way for y'all to be able to work together
Absolutely.
day in and day out.
Yeah. So I could teach, somebody his commands, which are in a different language. And he would listen to him maybe after some time, but he's with me all the time. He'll pretty much only listen to me.
Wait, he doesn't speak English.
So
He doesn't understand English.
So
Was it like Swahili or something?
So he understands words like Cool Whip. He speaks some English.
He's learned that because of it, though, right?
Right.
Gosh, that's crazy. I didn't know they taught y'all different languages.
The most common language is German, I believe. Another police department here in the county, their dog's language is Czech, like in Czechoslovakia.
Oh my gosh.
Taki's language is actually Dutch.
Wow, so you got to take a Dutch class.
Kinda, just a few words.
It's a simple one.
Does it sound weird when he talks to him in Dutch?
Well, you really don't. I don't really notice it. I hear the commands, but, he mixes it up with regular English that we understand, so you really don't never pay it. I don't never pay it any attention. Somebody like you, if he starts talking to Taki, you may recognize it real quick, but I just really don't pay it any attention.
Yeah.
Do they do that so that random people can't just tell him to?
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons, yeah.
So how long was dog school for you?
For me, I went to Alabama Canine, which is in Northport, Alabama. It's right there around Tuscaloosa. I spent 6 weeks down there at the canine school. And again, that's tracking every day and doing narcotic stuff every day. You do have to qualify and, pass the test with the instructors watching you, and you have to, they have to certify the dog and say, yes, we've observed the dog. He definitely can do the things that he's supposed to be able to.
So to follow that up, how long was Taki in school before you ever met him?
Taki actually came from Europe, so he was purchased from Serbia, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my gosh,
Right.
he's been to a lot of different.
World traveling
I'm
dog.
telling you, he's been to more countries than I have.
Yeah, and so Taki, I don't know if it's just a GSP thing. Taki just shakes all the time from excitement or being cold. So we joke all the time about how cold he must have been in Serbia.
Yeah, and he's skinny.
Yeah, he's a skinny dog just by nature, and he's short haired. What was the question again?
How long was he trained
So
prior to you getting him?
So down at canine school, they'll get these dogs in, and then they'll do what's called pre-training. So every handler that goes through the course down there, it's kind of like a train the trainer. Not only are you training this dog and learning how to do that, but you have to learn how to take care of the dog and how to fix problems that may arise with your dog. So every handler that goes through down there does what they call pre-training. Pre-training, like Taki probably went through it with a handler, and they'll take them for a couple of weeks, and they'll teach them very, very basic stuff. They may do some obedience, teach them how to sit, just very, very basic stuff. But for a new handler getting a new dog, the dog knows almost nothing about the work they're supposed to do when you get them.
See, I always assumed that the dog knew everything that you're being trained on is the way I always understood it. I never knew that, maybe that dog and you both were brand new, when y'all were being trained together. I always thought that the dog already was there and that you were there to learn what the dog is and or could not do. So you were talking about handlers. So I know at one time we had like 3 different handlers at the sheriff's office at one time that all went through the same handler school. With you being certified with Taki and the other two were certified with our previous dog, if something were to have happened that you wasn't able to handle Taki, they could have picked Taki up if he would have worked with them. They were certified as far as court goes to handle Taki in a search situation, correct?
That's correct. Would Taki work as well with one of those guys? Probably not.
Right.
But yeah, they've learned the same things that I've learned and went to the same school. They're taught the same way I was taught. That they should be able to grab Taki's leash and run him the same way that I could.
Now, how often do you and Taki have to go, say, get research?
So we go once a year. You go down there for a week. You have to perform all of the same standardized tests. They were developed in Germany, and this school just follows them. And we have to go perform in front of the instructors and show that we're still up to standard.
Now, is there some kind of paperwork that you got to keep up with to just prove Taki's existence and what he's doing every day in and day out?
So that's correct. Especially when it comes to narcotics detection. If he gets out of the car for training or real, let's find actual drugs, anything of that nature, there has to be documentation.
Right.
Whether he does smell something, whether he doesn't smell something, all of that has to be documented. It's called the training record.
Right. And that's for court purposes or to follow up so that somebody can say that, hey, this dog is certified. This is what we do for training every day. Because there's some kind of training I would have guessed every day.
Yeah, so some days I'm also the training officer at the sheriff's office, as you know. So sometimes I may have a trainee, and I may be tied up with that. So we may not get to train on some days.
Right.
But when feasible, we try to at least run one hide. We call them hides. And I'll have another deputy or somebody go hide. We use synthetic narcotic odor. I'll get to that in a second, but I'll go have them hide it somewhere and not tell me where it's at, and then so I'll run Taki, and that's typically what we'll do.
Now, when you say run Taki, people that's not in law enforcement like me and you, they don't know what you're talking about. Run Taki.
Right.
You're not grabbing him by the leash and y'all just take off running.
That's correct. Yeah. So when I say run Taki, I mean using him in a search.
Right.
And so the way that works, there's a couple of different kinds of search, but the number one most common type of search that we do, what we're taught to do is I'll use my hand and I'll present or cast, they call it sometimes. And basically what I'm doing is I'm pointing to where I want him to sniff. So on a car, just for example, it wouldn't make much sense for me to point dead center in the middle of a door because there's no way that air or odor could be coming out of that. But I would point at, say, the seam where the door meets because that's where odor could be. So that may be a place that I point and say, hey, sniff here.
Right. But you're not telling him what to do. You just give him a direction of where to go to.
So I'll give him the command to search, and then other than maybe, hey, good boy.
Right.
He's, especially now that I've had him a couple of years, he pretty well knows what to do.
You don't really have to tell him what to do.
No.
He knows when he gets out of the truck what his job is.
Oh yeah. So when we're at work and the truck door opens and he sees my leash in my hand, it's almost impossible to get the leash on him because he's just trying to jump out of the truck.
Right.
He gets excited to do a search.
Yes. And
Trying to find those drugs.
So the reason for that, maybe I should have started with that, is because he thinks that he's finding his toy. That's the whole premise of narcotics detection, as they're trained to, when they smell a certain odor, they think that it's their toy. So when we're really looking for drugs, in his mind, it's a big game, and he thinks he's just trying to find his ball.
So he don't even know what drugs is.
He has no idea, no. So he doesn't actually understand what the drugs are. He just thinks that he's finding his toy. So when he smells just like, say, meth, he thinks that he's found his toy. So that'll cause him to indicate or alert and let me know that it's there and it's time to play, basically.
Right. And do you play with him right then?
All right. So, again, different canine schools probably have different methodologies. The way that we do it is, now if we're in training, obviously, I know that the training aides are there, or the other person that hit it knows that it's there, so we just go ahead and reward immediately.
Right.
on the street, if I'm running him and he gives me an indication, I won't oftentimes reward him immediately. I'll go put him back in the car. And then, of course, if a canine alerts or gives an indication, that typically means we're going to have probable cause. We're going to search the vehicle. If we do find narcotics that he's trained to detect, then we've substantiated the indication. And once the scene is safe and we've secured the suspects or whatever the case may be, then we'll play with the toy.
Yeah, because it's a little unsafe to be playing with a dog on the side of the road.
Absolutely, yeah. Sometimes people don't pull over where you want them to. It's not a safe time to be throwing a tennis ball with your dog on the side of 411.
Right.
So
safety first.
And sometimes he may even indicate, and we may wait and go to a safe location, and then.
But he understands that he's going to get to play.
Right.
Eventually. It may not be right then, but eventually he's going to get his game.
Correct. Yeah, that's the whole thing for him. It's all a big game.
Does he get to play at home with the toys that smell like that, or does he just get normal toys at home?
So all of the toys are just normal toys. It's kind of complicated to explain. So I have some toys that are like hollow, and I can load them with like synthetic odor or something, and that toy actually does smell like it.
Yeah.
But there are other times where, like, one of his favorite toys is like this stick Kong toy, and I can't put anything inside of it. It's just a regular toy.
Yeah.
But at the time he finds something, he gets to play with his toy. The toy doesn't necessarily have to smell like it at that point.
It's not about the smell when he's playing with the toy.
Yeah.
It's the toy itself.
Right.
So you'll just be out on the little grass patch at the sheriff's department. Y'all just be playing ball sometimes or something.
Sometimes, absolutely.
Yeah, the whole parking lot.
So you probably have the best job out of anybody there because you get to play with your dog.
To me, it's the best job. I get to ride around all day with my buddy, and, it's like just having your pet in your car. To other people, not so much. Bo here cannot stand the way my patrol car smells.
Man, it just smells like dog. I mean, I don't have anything against dogs. We've got dogs at home, but dogs are confined in an area like that patrol car. Mm-hmm. If you don't keep it clean day in and day out, it's going to smell like a dog.
Yesterday, I was responding to a call, and Taki decided he was going to throw up in the back of my car. So
That is typical dog behavior.
those are things that you have to deal with when you're.
You got to take the good with the bad, ain't you?
That's right.
Hey, even though he's a celebrity, he still puts his britches on 4 legs at a time.
So what kind of gear does Taki have? I mean, I know we have vests, that we wear.
Right.
So
Tell me he's got a Kevlar vest, too.
So that's not just standard for most departments to issue their canines some kind of ballistic vest, because they're about $1,500 on the low end, and especially when the dog doesn't do any kind of bite work or apprehension work, a lot of times there's no budget for it. However, we did just apply for a vest with a company. This would be a great time to have their information to give them a shout out. However, if your department qualifies, and we found that we do, they'll actually make and ship your department a vest for the dog for free. And we've actually we've been awarded that, and it'll be here in a few weeks.
well, you can always give Caitlin the information, and she can post it on there.
I can pop
She
it
can-
up.
Yeah, okay.
She can input it.
Does he have like a special collar that he wears?
He does. If we're doing obedience work, he's got, a lot of people think that they're like choke collars. It's the one with the prongs.
Those things work.
So that's not actually how they work, though. They just pinch the dog's fur.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that. But if we're doing obedience work or something, sometimes he may use that. But just for just work in the street or something, the type of collar that he has, we call it a fur saver. There's a certain way that it goes on his neck. Mm-hmm. But it keeps him, if something happens, as long as I've got a hold of his leash, the collar will tighten up the more he tries to get away from me, and he can't get away from me.
Right.
So it prevents him from running into the road, just for example.
Right.
Is he smart enough to stay out of the road?
He's not, because we're so we're working in the road all the time. He has no conception that the road's dangerous. Sometimes, unfortunately, I just don't have means available to get out of the road, and sometimes I'm having to run him around a car in the middle of the road with traffic. So
Yeah.
he has no concept that he's not supposed to be in the road.
Yeah, he's looking for that toy.
Yeah.
He don't know that car going down the road doesn't have his toy in it.
Right.
What is he gonna be for Halloween?
So
I know y'all are dressing him up.
so we've talked about that. It'll be a surprise.
Can we post a picture of it on the podcast?
Going trick or treating with Taki.
Is he gonna be trick or treating though? Are y'all gonna do like a little something tomorrow night where y'all gonna have him out, or y'all gonna take him to Cave Spring, let him walk down the road?
No, I've got to work tomorrow, so.
Oh no, no trick or treating for Taki. That's sad.
I mean, he'll get to play with his toy. That's all he cares about, anyways.
That's true.
It ain't about the candy.
He don't care about the Reese cups and the Twizzlers. All he cares about is that Ready Whip and a toy. Oh goodness. I'm trying to think of something else.
So while she's thinking about something else, I know y'all have another dog at home. How does he interact with the other dog that y'all already had?
Fortunately, Taki is. What'd you say? Two bulls in a china shop. Unfortunately, Taki is not aggressive towards other dogs. He's very playful. The downside of that is that our other dog is 110 pounds. And he's a German Shepherd. And it is like a bull in a china shop. If they're ever out together, I mean, Taki is small and agile.
There's rolling.
He runs circles around the other one. He jumps over him.
Y'all have a cat too, right?
We have
Two cats. How does Taki act around the cats? He just act like they're
not
not.
bothered at all.
Really?
Not a bit.
I bet he's been slapped a few times. Has
No.
No?
He has. Oh, maybe he has.
Oh, it's going to happen when you got a dog and a cat in the same place. That cat's going to slap that dog eventually. Even if the dog has no intentions of harming the cat, he's going to get too close just to say, you're not going to do that.
I love it, and they'll get like this, and I go,
Yeah.
Cats should be boxers because they're quick.
Man,
Swear.
so we call Taki a boxer all the time because he wants to jump up and, get petted and play. And when he does, he always throws them paws. That's why my vest is always dirty at work.
Yeah.
he doesn't care if he's got mud on his paws
Not
and
a
jumps
bit.
on you.
Not a bit.
Does he jump on any of y'all?
No, he really hadn't ever jumped on me. Now, he wants you to pet him. He's gotten used to if we're all out in the parking lot and there's not anything going on at night or something and I'm still there and he gets Taki out, he'll make sure he goes to every person that's standing there and like, hey, you going to rub my head or what you going to do?
Yeah,
and then he'll go on off somewhere else.
He really likes Bo to rub his ears.
Yeah.
That's how they bonded.
Does Taki have like a special food that he eats, like that real good for the dog raw food, or does he have a special diet?
So he does have a special food. We don't do like raw or anything like that. Number one is because it's just really expensive. But the food that they feed them down in canine school and the food that we've continued to feed him is just Purina Pro Plan. It's just I guess it's higher protein or something. It's the expensive Purina.
Now, do you pay for that, or does the sheriff's department pay for his food?
The sheriff's office pays for his food. So Taki, although he does come home with me and he's around me all the time, he does belong to the sheriff's office until he retires.
How long does a dog normally stay? I guess it depends on the age
It depends
or the
on
lifespan.
It depends on the breed. It depends on a lot of factors. You can typically expect 6, 7, 8 years, usually out of a drug dog.
So when it's time for Taki to retire, do you want to be able to get him?
Oh yeah, I'd love to. It depends on the department and everything, but that's typically pretty common. If the dog's spent its whole career with the same handler, it's pretty common for the department to let the handler have the dog.
What was the first dog y'all had? What was his name?
The one previous,
Kilo?
Kilo was previous to Taki.
Oh, okay. Is she still alive?
No, I think she passed. I think she had cancer or something. Did she?
So unfortunately, she passed away. I think she had a kidney issue or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Was she also your dog?
No, so Kilo retired, And then the handler that had Kilo was an investigator, and the department decided that they wanted the next dog to be on patrol. So that's how I got the opportunity to go.
Did you pick him?
No, I didn't.
Did the sheriff pick you? Or how did that, did you just put your name in a hat and they draw? Or like, how did you get the dog? Like,
It's just something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be a canine handler, and quite frankly, there just wasn't a lot of interest on patrol at the time. So I just got lucky enough to be the only one that wanted to do it, I guess.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been me.
couldn't have been you. Dang. Well, I guess that just messed my question up.
Well, you can still ask it.
Okay. Well, now I know the answer. I kind of feel dumb. Did y'all have a bloodhound?
We did it one time. His name was Tracker.
And that's all the info you have?
I don't know that we ever used Tracker.
Wonder where he's at now.
I don't know.
Who handled him?
I don't even know that.
I don't either. I never saw him but one time.
So Kilo wasn't trained in tracking, so I don't think any of our previous handlers did tracking.
No, the only tracking dogs that we've really ever used in the past is Floyd County's brought their tracking dog, which was a bloodhound, over several times. And then I know in the past, throughout my career, we've used St. Clair County prison system, or DOC. They would bring a group of beagles
Oh yeah.
up from St. Clair County Prison, which is down around Pell City.
Those beagles,
And
man.
them beagles, man, they tracked one guy. We had a
Like
hostage.
a pack of beagles.
They would, yeah, absolutely. They would bring 5 or 6 at a time, and they would swap them out. When one
Oh,
would get
they
tired,
wouldn't release all 5 at the
No,
same
Lord, no. They'd be chasing squirrels and everything else. But we had a guy that had a hostage situation years ago. This was when y'all were little. I think Carly had just been born, and we had a tracking situation with a hostage situation where we called the tracking team in, and they tracked that guy probably 24 hours with those beagles. They'd dress one, go get another one out of the truck, bring him up, put him on the track. And this was overnight now through the woods. And it was
Did they catch him?
Yeah, they eventually caught him. I wasn't there because we were at home with a newborn baby, so I wasn't there. So
And the beagles.
the beagles from St. Clair County, they're awesome. They did the work.
They did the work.
Yeah,
Bloodhounds they're pretty good
they're good.
tracking dogs.
Yeah. We had a case over in Cedar Bluff years ago where we were looking for a missing person, and they brought the Floyd County bloodhound in, and from where it was in a campground area, and the dog tracked the person down around, the lake was down, it was in the wintertime. The lake was down, and the dog tracked the supposed person from that camper out of the camper and around the edge of the lake, and then it stopped at the water.
They drown.
And 2 days later, they found the body floating at a pier close by, and there was footprints that went down through there where the dog was tracking, and that dog tracked to the water, and that's as far as he could track. And then his name was Snickers from Floyd County.
Snickers.
Yep.
So your dog, I guess, is named after a chip. I mean, let's be for real.
So that is how you spell it. Taki, Taki. That was just his name when I got there, and nobody at the department really cared to change it, so we just kind of kept it that way.
Oh,
think
you can
we've
change
all-
their names after if you want to.
guess.
The department can.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever changed the dog's name once we got it.
See, I thought when they come in as a litter, they all get the same type of name. Like you've got your candy names, you got Kit Kat, Snickers, Reese's, M&M. So I just figured y'all had a Taki, a tortilla.
Dorito, Cheeto.
Yeah. I mean, I figured y'all got one of the drug dogs, like the Kilo and then other drug names or whatever, meth for a dog's name.
So let's get some. Let me ask you this question, Daniel. So what persuaded you to go to law enforcement?
Well, The family that I come from, and I don't mean every member of the family, but there is a lot of, let's say, not exactly lawful activity that's went on over the years. Interacted with police officers a lot when I was a child. And I personally never had any bad experiences. I always looked up to and respected police officers. Just kind of always wanted to be one, I guess, just from those experiences.
What helped you get there? I guess I don't want to give you a hint, but I know personally why you started where you're at now.
Right. Kind of what gave me the push. When I graduated high school, I thought I had it that I wanted to go into the medical field. I actually went and majored in nursing and everything. And then I met Harley, who, as you know, we're now married.
You're a nurse, right?
X-ray.
X-ray.
Yeah, X-ray.
That's cooler anyway.
Oh, she thinks it is. She loves it. But my wife's father at the time was a police officer, and my Harley. I don't know why I keep calling her my wife, like y'all don't know who she is.
She's sitting right there behind the camera, y'all.
Right. But she kind of really, really encouraged that, and I talked to her father a lot about it. One day he let me go on a ride along with him.
I think that was the first day I ever met you.
It's the first time I ever met Bo Jolly. I was on a call with Harley's father.
What'd you think about him? Like, you can
About
be
Bo?
honest. Yeah, don't.
Don't hold it back. Tell the world how I am.
Tell them.
So Harley's dad, his name's JP. So JP's like, hey, Daniel is like, this is Bo Jolly. He's a lieutenant at the sheriff's office. Me and Bo went to the academy together. And it's, hey, pal, I'm Bo Jolly. So
Got to throw that pal in there.
So we shook hands, and he said, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm thinking about being a police officer. And he goes, don't do it, pal.
Yeah. I didn't know if you remembered that whole conversation or
Oh,
not.
I remember it well.
Yeah.
Why do you say don't do it? Why do you tell people don't do it?
I mean, I don't know. I remember when I was young as a deputy, there was a couple of veteran officers that would come in every so often and say, man, you need to change your profession because, it's not the highest paying job. You're not going to get rich doing this,
Yeah, you definitely
sometimes
don't
you
do
just
it for the money.
No, you got to do it because that's where your heart's at and that's where you got to be led to do. But, it's hard to provide for a family when you're living off of a policeman or a deputy sheriff's pay to give them everything that they want or need sometimes. And it's hard on a family to I guess just go through life because y'all lived it. I was there and I wasn't there, As kids, it's rough on the kids, but it's rough on the parents because there's a lot of times you can't be there. And we discussed that in those other episodes, but
Well, not to mention not knowing if you're going to get to come home.
yeah, I mean, that's
That's a risk you take every day, especially now.
yeah, you risk that just driving down the road, but you triple and quadruple that risk when you toting a gun and a badge every day. So, I mean, it's just, the world's got to have law enforcement because you got to have law and order, but at the same time, it's hard to persuade somebody to go into law enforcement after you've been there for so many years.
Okay, so back to you talking about the dangers. Have you experienced any of these said dangers?
Oh, 100%. I've answered calls where, one time here recently, we answered a call in the middle of the night that turned out to just be a child playing with a phone. But either way, 911 got called, and that's going to usually elicit a response. So we pull up, and, guy had a lawful right to defend his house. There's a car in the driveway in the middle of the night. He probably thought we were breaking in, and he came to the door with a gun, pointed it at me. Now luckily he saw who I was and everything was fine, but just like that could have been the end of Daniel Holcomb.
Yeah. And you don't do just canine stuff. Your primary duties is canine because you have the dog, but you still have to do the whole setup that we do as far as answering calls, writing reports, or whatever.
Yeah. So I am assigned to patrol. I still answer calls and do all of the things that come with that. And like I said, I'm a training officer. I've usually got some kind of new person or a trainee in my car with me.
And that takes on a lot of responsibility that people don't understand. You're responsible not only for yourself, not only for that rookie or recruit, but then you've got that dog in the back seat too.
Yeah.
That, you got 3 lives that you're responsible for at any given time.
Absolutely.
How much does a drug dog cost? I mean, they're obviously way more than a normal, like, purebred of that breed dog, right?
Oh, absolutely. So the place that we use for canine school, the guy has been in business a long time, and he's got great relationships with these families in Europe. They're big on bloodlines and genetics, and so Taki, I don't know the exact figure, but Taki was several thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And generously, he was actually paid for with a donation. One of the citizens here in the county
I didn't know that.
yeah, one of the citizens here in the county just really, really was passionate about dogs and making sure that we had what we needed. And from the way I understand it, they basically just wrote us a check and said, "Get what you need."
Gosh, what a
Extremely
great
generous.
person.
Yeah.
Dang. Shout out to you, whoever you are. I bet they don't listen. Probably some old guy.
But they might.
Yeah, he might.
I know who it is, but I can't think of their names.
Oh, so you would say his name if you knew it.
It's you go down the hill from Main Street, and it's the old judge's house on the left, that big white house.
Or the
I know
one
which
that's
one you're
kind of
talking
set
about,
off
but I don't know
on
who
the
lives
way to
there.
Mary Jerry's? That the driveway comes up right across from the glass place?
Yes, that one.
I don't know who
It's
lives
those
there.
people. They moved here from like California.
Yeah, okay. They are from California. Yeah. I don't know them, but
Well, shout out to y'all for donating Daniel's dog for him. So now, do you have to buy the dog when it retires? Or do you just get to have it?
So that'll be up to the sheriff ultimately. But I guess probably not.
I don't think we did the last one.
Yeah.
I think we just let the handler have the dog.
Right, because at that point, so if we're retiring Taki, that means he's gotten too old to effectively do his job. Right. So he's really not a whole lot of good to the department anymore. So
Right. So what's his number? Does he have like a CE number? So when Daniel gets on the radios, he says CE 14 and
No,
27 are on duty.
no,
Or 41, is that what it is? 41 and 42?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On duty and off duty.
Yeah.
Sorry. Is that better?
Yeah.
She turns the mic up on me.
no. But if somebody ever requests me in Taki, they always just say CE7. You got your partner with you.
Yeah.
That is so sweet.
We don't call Taki over the radio.
Yeah,
We just, hey, you got your partner with you?
you called it, didn't you?
Put him on the pod.
Hey, buddy, I got you on speakerphone. I'm doing a podcast.
I'm sorry, I'll call you back.
He don't hang up. He won't call you no more. He'll be texting before he calls from now
Who's
on.
that guy?
He's one of our new deputies.
Oh, you're training him, aren't you?
No, he's already.
Just got done with it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Dang, y'all got all kinds of people.
We got a bunch of new people.
All my uncles ain't there no more. Now they're just my friends.
Yeah, they're all your age. or close to it.
Yeah. Well, do you have any more questions about Taki?
I can't think of anything just off the top of my head. Now, Daniel may have some insider.
Yeah, you have any
input,
info
but
you want to tell, like little fun facts about Taki? Harley, do you have any fun facts about Taki?
Harley may have some stories about Taki at home.
Does Taki make you want to pull all your hair out? Yes, she said.
So Taki. So going back to when I said he's probably the best. I forgot how I phrased it. He's the best treated drug dog in Alabama. Most handlers keep their dogs outside at all times, like in a kennel.
Dang.
So I do have an outdoors kennel, but our other dog's inside with us all the time.
Be sad to leave Taki out there by himself. That's
not
not
fair.
right.
Right? Yeah. So
It's not fair.
So Taki stays inside most of the time, but he is just so high energy just all the time. That if he's out, he's looking for something to play with. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the times he's in the crate or we're outside playing or something. But
He don't sleep in the bed with y'all.
Absolutely not.
Harley said no.
No, he has destroyed water bottles. He's destroyed 2 mats, like the mats in the back of the patrol cars. One time I left the divider open when I went inside to do a report, and he got in the front of my car. And
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
oh yeah, he's chewed up wires, my laptop cords. He's chewed up ticket books. He's chewed up. Yeah,
The
He
puppy
said-
has never left him, has it?
absolutely not.
Taki said nobody getting a ticket that day.
There's too many stops.
All warnings for y'all.
But he's just part of the family, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He whines a lot because he just wants out to play all the
Yeah.
time.
He's just too full of energy.
He jumped in the pool.
So the thing about a drug dog is that it's a characteristic they have to have. Otherwise, we mentioned pre-training earlier. Part of the pre-training is putting them through the initial tests to make sure they're even going to be a good dog. One of the characteristics they have to have is they have to be obsessed with inanimate objects because you need them to be obsessed with their toys. So that being said, anything can be a toy to him if I make it a toy. If I stimulate, but we say stem, if I stem him up and make him real excited about, say, a stick, that stick has now become a toy to him. So that being said, my sister and brother-in-law were over at the house one time, and shout out to them, by the way. They just got engaged the other day.
Congratulations.
So my sister and soon-to-be brother-in-law were over at the house. This was back in the summer, and this was one of the first times they had ever met Taki. And he's out running around. So, Bo, as you know, we have a pool in our backyard.
Right.
Because you spent those long couple of days helping me put the liner in.
Correct.
Did he have his little cardboard shoes on?
Absolutely.
Hey, they worked great, didn't they?
A big piece of cardboard with duct tape.
Did you also have them on?
No.
I think me and D-Berry's the only two that wore them that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his method about dragging the big piece of
The
wood.
level.
So, yeah.
The level the sand, man.
Just level the sound, man.
That's right.
Anyway, so they're in the pool, and Taki's running around doing his thing, all excited. And, I have told them about toys and whatnot, and because,
Don't stimulate him.
right, if you pick up a bottle of water to take a sip of it, Taki will beeline to you to see if you have a toy. So that's just how he is. So my brother-in-law's got his hat on, and he thinks it's going to be funny to try to get Taki in the pool. So he takes his hat off, and he starts, stemming Taki up. Well, Taki sees it, and if you've never seen a GSP get, real excited about something, it's almost like their eyes just... So Taki sees the hat, and, he just dives off in the pool. And then he realizes he can't swim.
Oh, my
Oh,
gosh.
no.
So he starts panicking, and Andy had to pick him up and set him back out of the pool. So he won't go near the pool now.
Oh, so he's afraid of the water now.
Yeah, so he, to be a bird dog and a dog that's supposed to get birds and stuff,
Yeah.
he doesn't like water.
Well, there's a
How
plus to that. He's not going to tear your liner up trying to get out unless somebody pushes him in.
That's wild, man. Did you panic when he started acting like he was going to drown?
No, Andy was right there, so it was fine.
So he pretty much landed in his arms.
Just about it, yeah, because he was going after that hat.
Bro, I bet he looked like the Duke boys, though.
So
Like in slow-mo flying over the top of the pool.
just the other day, me and Harley were discussing how he is airborne for more time than any dog should ever be.
He's got more flight time than you.
Dude's like Airbud.
Dude, when he runs, he just leaps these great distances.
Gosh.
I bet he could do like those dogs you see on Facebook that run up the wall and then do a backflip for a toy. Have you
I
seen
bet he
them?
could.
I bet he could too.
I bet he could.
How much of y'all stuff has he broken in your house?
Well, so we're pretty diligent about keeping him supervised at all times because we know how he is. But back last winter, we built this big, nice wooden dog kennel with the rebar.
Yeah.
And we spent weeks building it, and we stained it, and it's like the nicest thing in the world. And that lasted, about a week.
Oh, no.
Taki decided that the wood around it was a toy. So then he started chewing on it, and
Chewed his way out, didn't he?
we had to rebuild one of the doors. So
It's ironic that a dog that's supposed to catch crackheads acts like a crackhead.
Huh?
All his modes.
So we joke that Taki has 3 distinctive modes. So he's got what we call psycho mode, and that is working mode. That's playtime mode. He is an absolute psychopath. He does not stop moving. He's just pacing constantly. The second mode, we call it alligator mode. So alligator mode is when he's calmed down a little bit and he tricks you into thinking he just wants to get in your lap and get petted. But as soon as he gets up there, he starts death rolling and trying to bite you. And then the third mode, we call it snuggle mode. Because believe it or not, he does get tired sometimes. And when he's tired, you'd never know he was a drug dog. He'll get right up in the recliner with me and just go to sleep right in my lap.
Really?
But it's few and far between.
Yeah, I bet that's not very often.
It's not common.
When he lays on the floor, does he lay like with his legs spread all the way out where his stomach, like all of his stomach, is touching the floor?
He curls up in a ball about this big every time he
Fetal
lays down.
position type dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wild.
And I don't know if it's just a GSP thing. He has to dig out of bed every time he lays down. We're talking about like a horse stall mat is what he sleeps on. Like he can't dig it, but
He thinks he
But
is.
he's going to.
Yeah.
It's like a cat when they go round and round and round and round the bed until they lay down. Does he ever chase his tail?
He doesn't have a tail.
Oh, that's right. He doesn't. He's
like
got a
that long.
nub.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen Taki.
Yeah, I've met Taki. Taki.
He chews on his feet all the time. The vet says it's because he's neurotic.
Really?
That's because he's a psycho. Is he also neurodivergent?
Definitely, yeah.
ADD, ADHD.
He needs some meds.
Well, then he wouldn't do his job.
My sister jokes all the time about we need to give that dog CBD to make him calm down and chill out.
Yeah.
He need those CBD gummies.
I mean, when I've seen him, he's been in the parking lot running around. You know, if he's got to use the bathroom or something, he's not been like what Daniel's explained at home. I've never seen him that way. He's just been kind of running around in the parking lot and in the grass and stuff at the sheriff's office. But I've never seen him as a psycho, I don't guess.
He is such a sweet dog, but man, when it's playtime, he is an absolute psychopath.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him at playtime.
I bet if he was running around in the yard, he'd knock a kid over.
He's knocked me over.
Oh, Lord.
He has no sense of. He'll run, just playing and being excited, and he'll run smack into your legs.
He's like Johnny Sweep the legs.
Yeah, speaking of kids, I know that sometimes we send, you and Taki to the schools. How does he interact with the kids at school? Is he scared of them?
So he doesn't like to interact with the kids. Now he'll stand there.
I don't
with
blame
me,
him.
And
I don't either.
the kids are loud and everything, and he really doesn't care for that. He'll stand there with me as they walk by or something.
But you can't walk him down through a aisle of kids and let them just pet him.
No, so he won't let anybody else pet him. If you're not dressed like a deputy or a cop, he doesn't want to let you pet him at all. Unless we're at home, he'll let people at our house pet him.
Yeah.
He's in his zone.
Yeah, he's
now.
comfortable there, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't blame him, though.
It's not a bad thing.
No, it's really not. I mean,
You don't have people trying to feed him stuff
Yeah.
that he don't need to have because he won't take it.
yeah. I mean, so if I walk up not in uniform and he doesn't recognize me, he won't take nothing out of my hand to eat.
He won't let you get close to him.
Yeah, that's what he did to us that day. He just
Yeah.
he was stressed.
Now, he did let one of y'all pet him that day.
Mama.
Yeah, we was at our house. Yeah.
Eventually, once,
Yeah.
you know,
It took a little while.
once he warms up to you and realizes you're not going to
Hurt him.
mess with him or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Everybody thinks that police dogs are Superman, because they're a police dog.
Yeah.
They're just dogs.
That's right.
They're just dogs that
And they all have their own little,
they all
Quirk-
have their own
quirks
little
about 'em.
quirks. Yeah, they all have their own personalities. He's not Superman. He's just got a really good nose and a good work drive.
right.
But he's still just a dog.
Reckon how long how old is he now?
He's about 3.
So, typically dogs get out of the puppy stage about 3 or 4 years old, maybe. If he works 9 or 10 years, you think he'll still be that hyper?
So he will. It's part of his genetics and his bloodline. That's something that they test for, because if the dog is ever going to not be that way, they won't let him be a drug dog.
Okay.
Because that high drive is what makes him work when I want him to work.
I got you.
Is he to where he can have puppies, or no? Has he been fixed?
You can't fix them because it
Kills the drive.
kills their drive. Exactly.
Okay, so back, what was it? Was it August we had that badminton tournament?
I think it was, yeah.
So we got to do another one of those, because you said after the wedding.
I did, and I told them that we would, because they're just dying to play badminton again.
We need to do a pickleball tournament.
I've got to learn how to play.
We'll teach you. You can come play with us sometime. Okay, so you did all that trash talk when you brought Taki over that day. You and Zach just started jawing at me.
Now let's talk about what trash talk. They ain't talking about the drug dog or anything like that. We're talking about badminton now. We've jumped a whole universe from a K9 unit to a badminton contest tournament that we're having at my house.
Yes.
And a couple of guys at the office, one of them, mainly Daniel, told me several years ago when he found out, hey, y'all had a badminton contest or a tournament? Because his father-in-law lives right down the street from Caitlin. And so they heard through the grapevine that we had a badminton tournament. And I think
invited them. They didn't get to come. They were working at the steak barn.
y'all got...
No. JP and Michelle.
Yeah, but I think that's where y'all found out about it through JP and Michelle.
Right.
Anyway, so that's how you got to where we're at now. Daniel's been hounding, hey, when we going to have that tournament? When we going to have that tournament? I played some badminton in high school now. That's what he told me.
So when I went to school, we had that 5-period system where you had like that enrichment period in the middle. And
Where'd you go to school at?
Sand Rock.
Oh,
Sand Rock. But so
up on the mount.
If you had like great good grades and stuff, you got to just take, basically we called it a fun class, and you could take guitar, you could take chess, you could take whatever. Well, me and this other guy, Zach, who's another deputy that works with us, me and him did badminton, and we learned how to play with one of the coaches there was over that class. And badminton became such a big thing at Sandrock that at one point we had a school-wide badminton tournament.
Oh, really?
You got, like the talent show, you got to pay and come get out of class and watch the badminton tournament.
We had that dodgeball one time one year.
So that's how the badminton thing started. And I hadn't played in a long time because, I mean, who plays badminton? And then out of nowhere, I hear old Bo Jolly himself happens to be a badminton connoisseur.
And it was just during COVID, I think.
Well, I played badminton when I was a kid. That's what I grew up playing volleyball, badminton, football, and basketball in the backyard. I mean,
the only thing that I knew about badminton was that we hit those wood boring bees with the rackets. That's the extent of my badminton experience before.
But we got into badminton with y'all because we got the creek lot.
Yeah.
Had the creek lot at the time, and your mother bought that just pop-up badminton thing to do at the creek. Well, it never made it to the creek because we decided to take it on a new adventure.
Day. Yeah.
So we started this tournament, and then, of course, Daniel found out about it, and I'll let him tell the experience.
It was originally called the Breaking Badminton. You get that? Did you watch Breaking Bad?
I did.
It was originally called that, and then Mama renamed it to the Jolly Annual Badminton Tournament, which is a little less fun.
But it's more fitting, you know.
Yeah, it is. They made their own logo and everything. But now you can tell how you got into it.
So I said something to Bo one day at the office, and I've been pestering him about it for a couple years until he finally decided that he wanted me to beat him in badminton. And so
that you did.
So Zach and I decided we were going to be partners. Now Zach and I are pretty good. You can't deny that.
No, I won't deny.
I'll have to say they are pretty good.
So Zach and I, we go get like professional grade badminton rackets that like the Olympic teams use. and we get to practice.
Foreshadowing.
We get to practicing about every day, and we are confident. We are number 1 ranked Alabama going into this badminton tournament.
Practicing on a pickleball court
Now,
net.
but it's flat and it's not muddy, and now the net was a little bit lower, but
A little bit.
I think that's what got y'all.
it may have been. It may have been the win that day.
You also had an advantage because you could both see over the net, and I couldn't.
Well, so we show up to the badminton tournament, and I forget how many teams we had. So Zach,
We didn't have as
the
many
trash
as I
talking
expected.
started before you got there.
Oh,
it started months in
as
advance.
soon as I set a date.
He come over there. We gonna beat
As
y'all.
soon as I set a
We
date,
getting that
Daniel and
$150
Zach
or
started
whatever.
in my ear.
so what we have, like a $5 buy-in or a $10
I
buy-in?
think it was
I think it
20
was-
a team.
Yeah, it's 10 per person.
So there was a little bit of prize money involved, and like I said, me and Zach, we're number 1 ranked Alabama. Like, we've got this in the bag. So we may have trash talked a little bit.
About every day.
It was
To me, anyway.
Got
About
there.
every day.
Made me mad. But them hot dogs, what did y'all in?
So yeah,
You
so,
should not have ate anything.
Yeah, so we roll up to the Jolly Badminton tournament and just roll through every team there, including Bo and Caitlin.
But now me and Caitlin wasn't on team.
No.
I'm playing with 2 handicaps. I'm 51 years old. My dad's in his 70s.
Y'all were over there shoving badmintons down Granddaddy's
That has
throat.
nothing to do with anything.
Oh no, it has nothing to do with it whatsoever. People that are twice and 3 times these guys' age, playing badminton. Of course, me and Daddy, we played awful that day.
It was the win, too.
It was the wind was
real
awful
strong
that day.
Yeah. But then we decide, and I think it was strategically planned. I think this was planned out long in advance. So we had like a double elimination tournament. So you had to lose twice to be kicked out. So strategically, the Jollies decide that we're going to do halftime right before the finals and feed everybody.
I didn't want to do that, just to be fair.
So everybody goes in there and gets their bellies full. And, well, I think that's what really affected our performance.
It may have been. I didn't plan it for it to affect anybody's performance. I was ready to eat.
Well,
I mean, I was already out. I didn't care.
we blew it. They
No, they didn't blow it.
they pulled the upset.
It exploded.
And
Three.
boy, was it something.
So they beat
I
us.
think me and Daddy beat you in Blake the very first game
You did.
to put you
No,
in
no,
the
no.
losers bracket.
No, no.
I think
they,
we beat y'all the very first
We
game.
played them first.
Okay.
They beat us. Then
Okay.
we beat y'all. Then they beat y'all. And then they beat everybody
We
else.
didn't,
Blake
we,
beat
didn't,
us.
we didn't have to play Bo.
Yeah, we played you.
We played y'all
We-
just
we
because.
played him on the side.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to let him just walk away without me beating him.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, we beat y'all the second
Okay.
game because we played them first because I thought right off the rip we're going to have to play these dudes. And they had the shaded side.
Yeah.
We had to play on the sunny side, which was bogus in my opinion. But, it is what it is.
I mean, everybody can't have,
No,
everything
they-
their way.
they both were
Wasn't Burger King.
sunglasses. I didn't have any on.
We came prepared.
You did.
It was an away game, so you had home field advantage.
Yeah, would you like to tell us what your team name was?
Oh, and we went all out 2 years ago when we had this. Everybody that played had a team name. They had team shirts with numbers on their backs.
Mascot.
The whole thing. I told Daniel and Zach about it at the office one day, and they came up with a slogan. And
We were
There.
the Pinewood Pilgrims.
Yeah, and we had what do we have? The Fort Payne firecrackers and
Yeah.
Bass Cats.
the Bass Cats,
The Hitmen.
the Hitmen,
that's me and Daddy.
Smoke and Stand Up.
That's right.
So, anyways, we were trying to name the team names after the different communities people were from and whatnot, like the Pinewood Pilgrims. So Zach and I grew up mostly on County Road 106 in Leesburg, which is still and used to be called Pinecone, or Pinecone Marina was down there,
Yeah.
Pinecone Street. So Zach and I grew up around the Pinecone Marina area in Leesburg. And as you know, I used to have a pretty unique pet at my house. We had a pet possum for about 2 years. One of the guys that we worked with encountered like a bunch of little babies, and he gave me one, and we raised it. So that being said, I, as a joke, went and got a tattoo of a possum head holding a hand grenade and wearing like an army helmet, and it's a war possum. So Zach and I come up with the pine cone war possums, and Bo uses my tattoo as our mascot and our logo.
Yeah.
Would you just scan it off his body?
No, he took a picture of it and he sent it to me. And of course, I put it in my program with the t-shirt business, and it came out great.
And the war possum logo was born.
Yeah. Yeah. So the pine cone war possums showed up and
Annihilated everybody
right up
for
until
the whole
right
first
up-
round.
right up until it mattered.
Till it
Until it mattered, they pulled the pin on the hand grenade and forgot to throw it.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's what they did. That's a good explanation of it.
I was over there laughing.
That's
Pulled the
basically
pin
what
and
happened.
forgot to throw.
Oh, goodness. Well, after that,
They
Immortal.
say almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah.
We almost won. That's what you and Zach was saying.
But hey, we're we're gonna train up, and we got some things to work on, and hey, we're gonna show up next year.
Go back to the
Oh, no,
board.
there's no next year. It's going to be in a few weeks.
Yeah, we got to get that going again,
Yeah, we'll have to do it during
especially
the day.
before it gets cold. I don't want to play when it's cold.
We'll be there.
Oh, I know you will. Yeah, we got to get to work on that.
But after that Immortal tail whooping that they toted from the losers
Two
bracket,
games straight.
we had to beat them back to back to win because they
y'all
had to
did.
be beat twice and nobody had beat them.
Y'all beat them back to back.
And we beat them back to
The
back.
first game they beat us like 21-4.
Yeah, it was awful.
It was embarrassing.
It was like the Zach and Daniel show never came on. It never got plugged in to even show.
It was real quiet after that first
Yeah,
game.
you could see some disgust in both of them's faces.
Oh no, it wasn't.
That first
it wasn't
game.
quiet because remember our wives were the cheerleaders, and they had been cheering the whole time that we were winning, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden,
Yeah, it got quiet.
they started cheering against us.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know they were cheering against you.
Well, it was more, I think, trash talking towards you from them because all the trash talk that they probably had to put up with for months.
Oh yeah.
They just knew that shopping trip that was going to happen wasn't happening.
There were so many times I'd get home from work and Harley was like, "Hey, what do you want for supper?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I got to go to the court to practice with Zach."
Because y'all would see them out there when y'all were playing pickleball.
Yeah, we were out there playing pickleball one day. I pulled up and I said, Blake, look at these chumps. I said, playing on a pickleball court. I was like,
They pulled up to steal our playbook. That's what.
Oh,
they
is that
did.
what
They
that's
were scouting?
okay.
they were over there. And I told Blake, I said, this is really going to mess them up having to play on this little short net. And I was like, the net's taller in badminton. They're like, we know. And I was like, okay.
They're compensating. That's what they told me when you told me they were out there. I said something to them at the office. And they
I
said,
sent him a picture, y'all.
We compensated for it. I said, how do you do that? Oh, we just hit it higher.
If
But
you
you got to make do with what you got to work with, right?
Yeah. Neither one of us have a good non-muddy yard to put a net up and everything.
Shoot, y'all should have went down there and just stuck it on one of the tennis courts. Just popped your net up on the tennis court.
Yeah.
Well, the kind of net that I had, you had to like drive
Oh,
it the ground.
stay-
Oh, you didn't have the mobile versions like we had.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, after we beat y'all that second game, me and Daddy were standing in the kitchen a couple days later, and I was still on that high, because I still had that money in my pocket. And then we got to talking, and Mama says, it'd be funny if you sent them a letter from the Olympics.
Because the Olympics is going on about the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my gosh. And I wrote this absolutely bomb letter. Let me get it pulled up. And I just kept on like I was sitting there. I had to make it official. Did you like the letterhead on it?
Oh, so that letter to this day is pinned to our refrigerator with a magnet.
That's hilarious. So I put some kind of United States Olympic Committee letterhead on it. And it was August 8th when I wrote it. And it's got his name, address, all the stuff. And I knew your address because I had to go by every day. And so I looked at the mailbox on the way home that day and I said, got it. I said, Dear Mr. Holcomb, on behalf of Team USA, we would like to formally invite the Pinecone War Possums to try out for the men's badminton team for the 2028 Los Angeles Olympic Games. We feel as if your skill would help bring home gold and allow the United States to stand out from all other countries. Team USA takes pride in the commitment of our athletes to their sport, and you have what we're looking for in a future Olympian. If you're willing to try out for the men's badminton team, please respond via mail within 2 weeks of the postmark date of this letter. We do hope you are well and look forward to hearing from you soon. And then I put, sincerely, Cosmo Kramer, Vice President, and I figured you would get that it was a joke, because I figured, I don't know, I just thought maybe you watched Seinfeld.
So I didn't watch Seinfeld, but I was not expecting to get a letter from the Olympics, so I knew what it was as soon as I saw the letterhead.
Or you shook.
Harley was standing there when I opened it, and as soon as I unfolded it and I saw the Olympic symbol, I said, "They did not."
I thought he would think it was real.
They did not, he says.
Oh, God.
I didn't have to see any of the contents. I knew who wrote it. I knew who sent it.
But you thought he did it.
I did.
You didn't know I did it.
I thought it was him. Yeah.
No, I wrote that at work. I was sitting there at work, and I said, I've got to do this. Like, that
She
was
called me from work. Daddy, let me just tell you what kind of idea I got. And I said, okay. I said, I'll get you some addresses. Oh, I don't need but one address. I only need Zach's. I've got Daniel's already. I got it going home the other day. I said, okay.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, but then I was like, well, what's going to be funny is I put, please respond via mail, but I never left a return mail address. So I thought that's really going to irk him. If he's really thinking this is real, he won't be able to send anything back because I didn't leave a return address.
Yeah, but Daniel is smarter than the average bear, I'll have to say. When he noticed that wasn't on there, that was a clue there.
I did that to irk him.
From my standpoint, looking at it,
I should have included a return.
if I was looking at it from
letter.
Daniel's standpoint, if somebody sends me something to my house and me in law enforcement, somebody's either playing a joke or they really don't know or they don't want me to know who sent the letter. I'm sure that's probably what he thought too, kind of.
Cosmo Kramer sent the letter.
But I'm talking about just the envelope itself has only his address, no return. There's something fishy going on automatically.
Did you look and think that?
Oh, as soon as I got it out of the mailbox, I knew it had to be some relative or something like Bo said. I knew it was somebody that probably knew me.
Well, I'm glad. Well, I was at your house when he texted. He sent a picture.
Yeah,
and the conversation in text was so funny.
Yeah, I don't even think I have that conversation anymore.
Oh, you deleted it?
I have to clear my messages off, pal.
I thought it was so funny when you said
They get overloaded.
bros before hoes. Look, he said.
I remember now.
I told him to say that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yep.
Oh my gosh, we had to blurt that one out.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I think that's all.
Hey, but at least
today.
we can all have fun and laugh about it, It's all in fun.
Yeah. All right, y'all. That's going to be all for us today. Thanks for coming on the show, Daniel, and
Thank y'all for
talking
having
to
me.
us about Taki and badminton and all the things. And
The fun things.
yeah, the fun things. We'll definitely have to let y'all know how the upcoming. We should sell tickets.
Oh, we've got multiple people that has asked, hey, when y'all have that other tournament, let me know.
We need to definitely sell tickets, $5 a pop or something. Sell food. We should just make
I don't think there'll be any food at the next one because there's going to be very few people eating it because it's a jinx apparently.
BYOF. Bring your
It'll
own
be
food.
just bring your racket and ready to play kind of thing.
Yeah. Needs to be like right after lunch, before dinner.
Well, there's some that probably won't eat.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. But anyway, so, Callie, whenever you listen, we hope you have enjoyed your honeymoon. You'll be back by the time you hear this, but,
Congratulations, by the way.
They're having fun. We talked to them today.
in Jamaica.
Raining every day on them.
Oh, is it?
That's what she said.
Dang.
Yeah.
But anyways, y'all, we're still making commercials. We're still taking ads to put on the podcast, and then we're going to be starting our Bible study podcast pretty soon in the next year. So y'all just stick around. We got a lot of good stuff coming up. A lot more Bo. We'll probably have Daniel on here again. He's got some other stuff to tell us about. I can't remember what we said earlier, but I know the office stuff. Callie will like that.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyways, this has been Beyond 21. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Bo.
I'm Daniel.
All right. Peace out, y'all.